you see lots of different sides of your spouse. Just like in the personal world, like you see the good and the bad of your spouse. And in the professional world, you're going to experience that as well. But I think we're kind of focusing on the negative of that. I think the really cool part about it is like, I get to see this side of you that I would never have gotten to see. Like I get to see why you're as talented as you are in the financial planning space. I get to see why you are just really good at being a business owner, and I get to see what things excite you. Welcome to Money Dates, the podcast that makes money conversations with your partner feel a little less taboo. I'm Natalie Slagle, a certified financial planner, and I'm joined by my husband and business partner, Dan Slagle, also a certified financial planner. Say hi, Dan.
Hello.
In each episode, we'll share honest stories and practical tips to help you and your partner feel more connected and confident on your financial journey. So grab your drink, get comfortable, and join us for our Money Dates. Danny boy.
Natty girl.
Never call me that ever again. Thank you.
Call me Danny boy.
I know, but people actually call you that.
No one calls me Danny boy. No, there's a song, right? Oh, Danny boy. The pipes.
I feel like in college, some of my girlfriends would call you Danny boy, but maybe we did behind your back. I was like, our cutesy little name for you. Okay.
How nice.
I have a topic we recently talked about personally. It came up on a podcast and you had said, okay, maybe we'll talk about this in the future. Well, now is the future.
Let's do it. What is it? I'm excited. I'm nervous.
You know what
too.
I'm going to ask?
No, I have no idea.
I want to talk about whether you think we will have another child.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Is that the topic of this episode?
Yes, I am putting you under pressure. There are people who are going to listen to this, and you have to tell me about your thoughts on having another child with me. No pressure. And by the way, if you're listening and you've made it this far, this is not the topic of conversation. This is just our 3-minute little whatever. So let's hear it, Dan. Like, do you want to have another kid with me?
Is this like, I don't know the right term of what's going on here, but I feel like I'm being pinned to get like backed into a corner.
You are so
Did my response the other night not like satisfy what you were looking for?
See, I can tell you're a little nervous.
I'm a little nervous because I'm like, I feel attacked. I feel attacked right now.
Okay, Dan, we just want you to be honest. And the answer.
Oh, you and all of the listeners, okay, I see what's going on here. All right, so let me.
There's no wrong answer.
You asked the question. Let me give my response.
Okay.
My response isn't so much yes or no. My response is, I'm a good politician, by the way. My response is, I've really enjoyed this first year with our daughter, our first child. I don't feel like right now I'm in a place where I'm just enjoying it so much because like all months, all weeks, all days there's hard points, right? But like, I feel like with her, it was really hard at the beginning. Mm-hmm. And I feel like now we're just like in a rhythm of like, I get it. We kind of understand each other. No, so like older parents are like, you fool. Like, what are you talking about? But I'm at a point of like, I'm at a point of like, I'm really like, I feel like we're in a good rhythm. Mm-hmm. And so like the idea of bringing in another child and then like going back into it kind of makes me nervous. Not going to lie about that or sugarcoat it. So I'm still not giving you a yes or no answer. I grew up in a family where my brother is 7 years older than me. That's a big gap, right? Like your mom always calls me like I'm an only child, even though I'm not, like just the way I act because of that. Yes. I don't know what that means either. Like, everyone's just coming at me. The world's coming at me. Bring it. All right. And
bring it.
So there's a 7-year gap. That's a really big gap. And so, I'm kind of like using that as not as a metric of like 1 year after Jay was born. I guess it takes 9 months, like once you're pregnant to have the child. Yeah, that's true. But I feel like that
You did learn that, didn't you?
I learned a lot during your pregnancy. So
I mean, and so did I.
Let me just get to the point. I think I need a little more time, but I'm not shutting down the idea completely.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if we only had one child and it was our daughter, I would be so happy. I don't feel incomplete by not having another child.
Yes.
And time will tell. So I'm still there. I could go one way or the other. Well, hold on. All right. You put me on blast. So when we first started dating, one of the first serious conversations we had is I was like cooking dinner one night in your apartment and you just were sitting at the table watching me and you said, so how many kids do you want to have? And I knew it was a test. And I was like, okay, Natalie comes from a family of you have a brother and a sister, but your mom and dad have like a gajillion siblings. Like I'm talking.
Mm-hmm. My mom is one of 13 and my dad is one of 10. So big families are.
So that's crazy. So I knew okay, there's something tied to this about like her family size. I had known like you have a lot of aunts and uncles. So I said 4 kids. And then your response was like something along the lines of, oh, good, because I want 6. Man. There's nothing wrong with like people who want, a lot of kids, obviously. With 6 kids, I laugh at like the life stage we're at right now and thinking back like 10 years ago when you were like, I want 6 kids. Like there was a time where we thought about like not even having kids. So.
Yeah, I was on that boat for a long time. I was like, I just don't think kids are right for us anymore. I went from wanting 6 kids to saying like, nope, I don't want any kids. And then life events happened and we decided to have Jay and we were really blessed to have her. I will say I am very sure that I do not want 6 kids anymore. I am very sure of that. And you know what? I agree, Dan. If we have Jay and Jay is our only offspring, what a wonderful life that we get to have. And so I appreciate you having that open conversation with me. I would love to be a fly on the wall for other couples. I'm like, how do you decide to have more than one child? How do you decide to have a child? Like, how do you decide to not have a child? Like, it's a really big conversation for people. And I wanted to have it with you here. So thank you.
Dang. Yeah. I passed.
You passed. You passed, of course. So today, though, the actual topic is kind of similar, like more on the personal front of...
It's not similar at all.
Okay, fine. It's a little... Today we want to talk about being self-employed with your spouse. So kind of, like family topics.
Oh, like your business is your baby type thing. Okay. I get it.
That. No, I'm just saying like, we're just going to be like, our last episode was a little bit more technical, talking about estate planning and all of that. And this episode is a little bit more like back into the like dynamics of family, work, life balance, all of that. And because working with your spouse is unique. It's a different beast. And there's things I love about it and things that are hard about it. And so that's what I thought would be interesting. And I know like even our clients will ask us sometimes, and our clients, they might be 2 W-2 workers working at completely different jobs. And they're just like, so like, what's going on behind Fyooz Financial Planning's doors? Like what, like I see the 2 of you show up and we have these awesome conversations. And it, a lot of our clients will say like, it kind of just like feels like we're all like hanging out and then taking care of this really cool, important thing, which is their finances. But like, what's it really like when you're not in a client meeting or you're doing like, what does day-to-day look like? So today we're going to just talk about it.
Yeah. And like couples we weren't that unique like 5 years ago because everyone was working at home with their spouse. So people have gone through this as well. They're just not directly in like the same business and like working on the same things, right?
Yes.
So I think that's what we want to share today. But like all of you listeners, there was a point not too long ago where you were sharing maybe your living room or sharing a desk with your significant other during COVID, and just put that lens on, I think, as we go through this episode.
Right. And we're working, like we work in the same house. Dan, you're upstairs right now. I'm in my office / guest room. And even though people might have their different jobs and they're both working in the home, they're not working together. They're not working professionally. They're not going to team meetings and showing up and it's their husband on the other line or, on the other side of the Zoom screen. Like that's different.
Yeah, it's different. You're still sharing an intimate space though, right?
Yes. Yeah. Sure. Okay. So I kind of wanted to talk about like the personal implications and the financial implications of working with your spouse. So what do you want to start with, Dan? Personal or financial?
You're probably, the way this episode started, you're probably going to share with listeners how you made me cry in like the first month of working together. So let's hear it.
Okay. I wasn't going to like bring up that okay, so we're going to go to personal implications. So personal implications is that you will make your business partner / husband cry. And I checked that off right away. I think that's like the one and only time. No, it's not.
I was very emotional at that time. We didn't have any income coming in of starting our business. I moved in to my mother-in-law's like 2-bedroom townhome. And then our desk was a shared table a foot away from our bed. So
I could just like reach my arm and like play with your hair. We were way too close.
I just think like what happened that day is like we had never worked together before starting our business. So there was like, I think a lot of people can relate to it. If not, then maybe we're just different. But like you have like more of like your work persona versus personal life persona, right? Like,
yeah.
And I think that a lot of people can resonate with that. So we just had never seen each other in terms of like, what are they like at work? And what are maybe some of like the things that we each carried with us into starting Fyooz from like our past careers, our past lives. Great movie, by the way. Got to check that out.
Past lives? Yes.
Yeah. I'm only saying that because I'm wearing my South Korea soccer jersey. So it reminded me of past lives. Sorry for the tangent. So you bring your work persona and share it with your spouse, and there's things you learn about each other. And I think we were just like, we had a rough day, and I forgot what you said. Maybe you didn't say anything, but I was just like, I don't know if this is going to work. Like it was a pretty emotional time, I think, for both of us.
Yeah. I feel like the takeaway, I don't remember the conversation, but I felt like the takeaway from you was that I was being mean, flat out. Like I was just being mean to you. But to your point, you haven't really hung out with professional Natalie very much. And professional Natalie can sometimes be more direct than personal Natalie. And I want things done a certain way. And things can skyrocket on my priority list much faster than it can for you or for others. And so when that happens to me, I'm just like, we got to do this. Like, you got to do it better. You got to do, but I'm just like that. And I'm not really like that personally. So going back to the topic today, the personal implications is you see lots of different sides of your spouse. And so you see just like in the personal world, like you see the good and the bad of your spouse, and in the professional world, you're going to experience that as well. But I think we're kind of focusing on the negative of that. I think the really cool part about it is like, I get to see this side of you that I would never have gotten to see. Like I get to see why you're as talented as you are in the financial planning space. I get to see why you are just really good at being a business owner, and I get to see what things excite you. Like, I mean, even before we started Fyooz Financial Planning, we worked in the same industry. We talked the same talk. And so we would come home at night and you would share about your day. It made sense to me. Like I was like, oh yeah, like that happened with this client. I totally understand that. But it's different when you're actually in it and it's like, hey, I met with this prospective client and now they want to work with us because they met with me and I described it in a way that excited them. Like I'm thinking about this time where you and I, again, when we started our business, we sold everything and we moved in with my mom because we made no money. Those were the days. One time I remember we got an award and we just like were running around the kitchen island in circles together. And we were like, that would not happen if we weren't working together. So I think the personal implications is just like being able to see these different sides of your partner that you would never have gotten to see otherwise. And wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, I think one of the other amazing. I still remember that to this day, like having a bowl of popcorn, like being on this virtual conference and like randomly getting an award. And we were just like, wait, what, us? And then we just started like running around the house and cheering and being able to celebrate like a lot of accomplishments with you is like, oh, it's so much fun. You know, I still remember like the first time the first like client we ever started working with, once they said yes, I remember like you and I went out and grabbed like a slice of pizza after, and like it was just such a big deal for both of us. And I love being able to celebrate in those things with you. I think the other big aspect from a personal standpoint that's really important to us and why we started our business is the flexibility that we can have control over our schedule and really dictate when we meet with clients, when we're working on our business rather than in the business. And that's been really helpful for us. And we can structure our calendar in a way to like maximize what's most important to us in a certain moment. So like last year when our daughter was born, there was a time where I think for about 5 months, only one of us was working, right? And we were able to structure it in a way where we could alternate and fit to what a specific need was. And the other thing that I really love is being able to enjoy our summers. So what that means for us is just having a little more freedom in the summer because we're working hard in the winter, the spring to take some vacation and family time. So
I was just going to add, like, we've also learned from our clients, they don't want to talk to us in the summer. True. I mean, they do, but like via email, like we've scheduled meetings in the summer and it's like an 80% reschedule rate. And so we've just kind of learned like, y'all are busy trying to have your own fun and we're, and then you're like, hey, when can we meet next? And we're like, blah, blah, blah. So like the flexibility is we've kind of tailored it to match our needs, our clients' lives. And we get to do that together. It's not like, hey, Dan, I got PTO this week. Can you check with your boss and make sure you get PTO for that week of vacation as well? And I'll just cross my fingers and hope that it all works.
Yeah.
The other personal implication is like, how do you think it impacts our marriage relationship that we work together? I'm asking you, Dan, like how do you think?
That's a really interesting perspective. We've had to set a lot of boundaries with work and personal in terms of like, not so much recently, but there were a few points within like the first few years of our business where I just didn't want to talk about our business outside of work hours. Mm-hmm. And it's hard, right? Because like you get to celebrate the highest of highs with each other, but also you have to deal with the lowest of lows, whatever that may be for your business. And sometimes it's hard to just like turn a switch and not have that like at the forefront, like whether it's just like opening your work email outside of working hours, and then you maybe don't get a good email response that you're looking for. And then it just throws off your Saturday, right? Like you shouldn't even be checking your email on a Saturday. But so we've had discussions in the past and have implemented at certain points like, hey, when we're at dinner and anything past dinner, we're not talking about business because I don't want to, whether it's a sense of like, I just want to keep work, or I just something maybe not positive, like something negative happened, whatever it may be, or just setting those boundaries and expectations for the other person and vocalizing that has been really instrumental for us in terms of like separating personal and professional. I'm trying to think of like how else has it impacted like our personal relationship? What do you got? I know you have something.
Yeah. So I was talking to a girlfriend recently and she was sharing, unfortunately, that her brother is going through a separation. So we were just talking about like marriage and divorce and all of this, right? And she had just made the comment of like, I can't even imagine divorcing my husband because it would just take so much work. And because we were talking about like, why do you stay with your partner, right? Like what makes you stay? And it's not sexy. It's not romantic. However, there's something about the untangling of a marriage that can help keep the marriage. Like if it would be so hard. And we're not at a point where like the only reason why we're together is because we own a business together. But to me, it's like that is more reason why, like we have so much responsibility to make our marriage work on not only like it used to be on behalf of our clients, on behalf of our business, on behalf of our employee. Now at the forefront, it's on behalf of our daughter. But like that gives me motivation. Like, hey, this little thing that's bothering us, or we have this issue, like, let's work on it. Let's make sure it doesn't turn into a big issue. Let's work on the way we communicate with each other. Let's work on whatever it is that any typical marriage needs to work on. But like, so to me, I feel like having a business together has made me like even take our personal marriage even more seriously because there's even more on the line. And I think about, okay, if I had to replace you, not from a husband perspective, but from a business owner perspective, like, I'm like, I don't know who I would want to work with. So to me, I feel like our having a business together has actually, like in so many different ways, it like makes our marriage better, more secure. And like, I just rely on you heavily, Dan. Don't you go anywhere. Don't you go anywhere.
I'm not going anywhere. Don't worry. Don't leave me, Jack. I don't know if that's actually a line from Titanic.
No, it's close enough. Close enough. He does leave her to the deeps, the depths of the ocean.
Ouch. Well, okay. So we've talked a little bit about like how it's impacted us personally from the personal perspective, but we also want to dive into, I think, some financial implications, right? Like how it impacts us, like from a financial standpoint.
Yes, so many financial implications. I made a list, and the list is a lot bigger on the financial implications than the personal implications.
This is true. I'm looking at the list where there's 2 bullet points under personal implications and like 20 under financial implications. So this will be interesting.
Okay, so financial implications, just starting with income. I mean, it really depends on how you operate the business together, but as all my small business people know, irregular income. And then when you work with your spouse, the two of you have irregular income. And that can just like feel a certain way when you try to do cash flow planning. And then in the same lines of that is you now have 2 entities to manage from a financial perspective. So you have to manage your business finances as well as your personal finances. And it's not like one is easier than the other. They both take a lot of work. So you've just doubled the amount of financial stuff in your life that you have to manage. And maybe some people love that. I don't mind it. It does take up time. Tax payments. Oof. So much in taxes. like having 2 partners self-employed, there's just a lot of tax payments. There's a lot to keep up with taxes, whether you're making quarterly tax payments or you're just making sure you're paying enough through if you're an S Corp and doing W-2 payroll, like making sure that is keeping up with you. And then the one that I wanted to spend a little bit more time on is retirement plan contributions, because typically when small business owners come to us, they're like, okay, finally, like I can breathe. Like I've been running this thing for a few years now. I'm making pretty good money. I'm like getting caught up financially. I mean, this is literally our journey too, Dan, right? Like when we started Fyooz, there was no such thing as retirement plan contributions for, I don't know how many years, but like kind of a long time. And once you're like up and running and you start to have cash flow above and beyond your needs and wants, like, okay, now we can start saving. I think what's underestimated is how no one will like consistently tell you that this is important, except for yourself and or if you hire a financial planner. Like no one's looking out for your retirement plan. It's like, my guess is your parents aren't like, hey, I know you started a small business. Have you opened up that SEP IRA yet? Like nobody's telling you that. So I'm like, wow, that's scary. Like, I hope people are really taking that into consideration. And that's been kind of this anxious spot for me, Dan, right? Because like I've been the one that I'm like, oh my God, we didn't make retirement plan contributions for a couple of years. Our retirement plan's going to explode. Like, we're not going to ever be able to retire. And Dan, you've been like, whoa, calm down. We're fine.
Well, yeah. And I think like the root of that problem is understanding if you have profit left over, what to do with it, right? Like keep it in your business or reinvest it back into your business. Do you make retirement account contributions? Do you need to build up your personal bank account, right? So there's so many additional avenues to think about with what to do with the money. It makes it a little harder when you're self-employed at the end of the day.
Right. Well, because it's like the conversations that we have literally had have been, hey, should we expand our marketing budget or should we put more into our 401k? Like the 401k to me is more of the personal finances. The marketing budget is obviously the business finances. They'll have the same tax impact. We'll get to deduct marketing expense or we'll get to deduct the 401k contributions. You know, are we trying to expand our 401k balance or our business entity value, like, or whatever? So to me, this is fascinating. This is a fascinating experience that you and I get to go through that most people don't, because the decisions we make at the top, and I'm going to say the top is like the business, it impacts us personally. Or it's like, hey, let's expand the marketing budget. And that means we can't go to Europe next year. Like that, like, I know that was kind of like a dramatic example, but it's kind of the truth.
I feel like that's exactly what that is 2026. What are you talking about? That's not dramatic. That's like a real life dilemma that we have to figure out.
It is. Okay. I appreciate that you didn't think it was dramatic because it's like kind of like what we're talking about now as we're thinking about planning our travel for 2026. So being your own advocates for retirement plan is so important. And when it's the two of you, at least for a lot of people who are self-employed and then they have a partner that works an employer and the employer has all the benefits, like there's someone who still kind of has the ball rolling. But when you're both self-employed, like you really got to take ownership of that. Okay. The next thing, the financial implications when you're self-employed. This is a big thing. We should probably have a whole episode just on this in general, but all the insurances. So health insurance, disability insurance, vision insurance, dental insurance. We went without all of those for a very long time. Like that's how we did it. We went without. And we've slowly been incorporating them back in. I think what's scary is with the passing of the OBBB, as I call it, because I don't like saying one big, beautiful bill, but there's going the premium tax credits that you're supposed to get on your health insurance premiums, especially for lower income families. Like that's set to expire. So health insurance is going to get really, really expensive. And this impacts all the self-employed people out there. So if you are a couple and you're both self-employed, you don't have access to group health insurance, then how do you tackle this? It's a huge financial undertaking is to self-insure when you're self-employed. And we've done it kind of a unique way, and I'm not going to unpack that today, but huge financial implications on the whole insurance side, not having access
just like
to that.
the mental aspect of it too, going like uninsured. Like it's not comforting, right? Like
right.
It's either like you're forced to pay like an example, like an $800 monthly premium, which is, and you're maybe used to when you're in W-2, like having your premium paid for by your employer. So then you have an $800 added expense in addition to starting your business or not making as much income. And then the alternative is, well, if I just don't carry insurance, then I'll just test my luck, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, that's something I still deal with to this day is like, I don't feel comfortable like if something were to happen based on like certain coverages because of cost. And so it's hard, right? Like that all leads into personal conversations too.
Right. Like, okay, are we going to pay for the more expensive plan in case a huge cost comes up? But that means just from a cash flow perspective, we're going to have less because we have to pay so much money to have access to this plan for an event that we have no idea is going to happen. It's really big implication there. I think the last thing of the financial implications, it kind of ties back to the personal implications, and that's goal setting. I guess specifically now I'm going to talk about financial goal setting, but when you work with your partner, like you get to create those financial goals together, and you also get to hit those goals or miss those goals together as well, right? And so you'll have your business financial goals, and then you have like, okay, if you're hitting your business financial goals, my guess is that also means you're hitting your personal financial goals. If you set out, because I feel like that's what we do first, is we set our business financial goals and then we go to our personal financial goals. And if we don't hit our business financial goals, we're not going to hit our personal financial goals. And that's just the joys and non-joys of that.
Yeah. I still can't advocate enough if you and your partner are in a position to work together. The pros or the benefits definitely outweigh the cons or the costs of it. Just because and we've been doing it for 6 years. I don't know if that's a long time or not in this day and age, but what stands out like very clearly are more of the positive experiences that we've had with this. And I love that we went behind the scenes to share like what some of the personal implications have been and also how it impacts us financially, because the truth is like for a lot of self-employed couples that we work with, like the primary focus is either on business or on personal. It's not on both. And the reality is that both drive like their own individual paths, right? So like what I mean by that is like your business, if you're solely focused on your business, well, then you're not even thinking about your personal. And at the end of the day, like, unless you plan to have an exit strategy with your business, like you're not taking care of your personal self. So fast forward 30, 40 years, if you don't have an exit strategy or like a valuation or a buyout or something big like that, well, you're not setting yourself up for success on the personal side, right? So it's about balancing the two out that I think is most important.
Yeah. And just like you have to be your number one advocate in both spaces. Would you do it all again?
Yeah, in a heartbeat.
Tell me more.
Why would I do it all again? I look back at like, even though the first like few months, first 2 years of when we did it. And like, I don't think I would trade that time for anything else in the world. Like we started our business, we like officially launched in October 2019. So right before the pandemic. And I know the world was completely different, but I just had such amazing experiences during that time in terms of like, we had more flexibility. We were able to travel to certain locations that we always wanted to. And like, remember being on a train in Europe and being like, I don't even have to check my work email right now. Like, this is incredible. I have no responsibility in my life except for taking care of Natalie, who's next to me. So we're good. And then during the pandemic, like you and I were working at I was working at a running store. You were working at a grocery store, right? And like, we didn't need to do that, like in hindsight, looking back at that, because I think we had saved enough to live off of, but it was still a good avenue for us to have some time, I think, away when you're working with your spouse. It was good to have a little bit of separation. And we met like really cool people during those jobs. And I did like, there was so much excitement to that, like in that time frame. Yeah, I wouldn't change it for the world. And obviously, like fast forward to now, like life looks a lot different. The clients we work with look a lot different, or there's a lot of our clients who have been with us since 2020, which is incredible. And like also those relationships, seeing like where people were 6 years ago and where they are now, like introducing like kids, multiple kids, like moving across the country, buying homes, like all these crazy things that are happening in their lives. And like, we get to be a part of it. So I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Me too. It's pretty great.
Cool. All right, Natalie, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hey, if you've enjoyed this episode and are looking for personalized financial guidance, schedule a free complimentary consultation using the link in the description below. Natalie and Dan Slagle are the founding partners of Fyooz Financial Planning, a registered investment advisor. The information provided in this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered investment advice or a recommendation to buy or sell any securities. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Advisory services are offered to clients or prospective clients where Fyooz Financial Planning and its representatives are properly licensed or exempt from licensure. For more information, including our disclosures, please visit our website at www.fyoozfinancial.com.